Hi everybody, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for watching our presentation on motivation. This is done for a college class for organizational behavior for the Globe and or Broadview universities. Our instructor is Kevin Radine and the date of this presentation is March 11th, 2016. Our group name is Organized Chaos. We found this group name very fitting for all intents and purposes. Our group members consist of Alison Gerhardt, which is our team leader, and Amanda Zeller, Anthony Griffiths, and Ashley Smith. Together we worked and put this presentation together. Okay, everybody. Well, have you ever considered the importance of motivation in your life or career? Well, this presentation will address the need for motivation in an individual's life as well as their career. We'll be evaluating and emphasizing the importance of business and leaders possessing the motivation skills that are vital and necessary for success. We will begin this presentation by analyzing the extrinsic and intrinsic factors, and then we'll go over how motivation can be related to business by discussing Hertzberg's two-factor theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the Hawthorne effect, the expectancy theory, and we'll be concluding this presentation with the three-dimensional theory of attribution. First, we're going to be talking about external or extrinsic motivation factors. Motivation can come from the outside, such as motivation to win medals, receive financial rewards, and attract attention from the media. We all know those people that work hard just for these simple rewards. This is known as the external or extrinsic motivation factor because it involves participation in sports for some kind of reward that is external to the process of participation. Therefore, that means if their rewards were not in place and there was no way to reach that goal to get those rewards, probably not going to be working towards that goal. An example of an external motivator can be money. Money can not only increase an individual's social position, but it can also be the difference between paying your bills on time and filing bankruptcy. Nobody wants to file bankruptcy. It's looked at as kind of a means to an end and almost a failure in most perceptions. Unfortunately, some personal needs can create motivation for someone to take items unlawfully from their employer, such as committing criminal fraud, committing embezzlement, and things of this nature. Some additional motivators can be prizes, which can be gift cards or some type of recognition for achieving higher productivity. Promotions, so being promoted in the workplace, this can cause an individual to work harder, try to advance themselves. And social advancement. So this is when someone is recognized by their own coworkers within their organization, and it can give that person a feeling or like a status elevation, and it can lead to a better overall production of that person. Internal or intrinsic motivation factors. These consist of physiological and psychological needs. Physiological needs are what we need to survive. Then this is the base for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This includes sleep, food, air, reproduction, and psychological needs, well, they consist of affiliation, achievement, and power. So the need for affiliation. This includes relationships, a sense of belonging, mutual understanding, security in relationships or an organization. Let's face it. If you don't have this need for affiliation within the organization structure that you work in, you're not going to want to come to work. If you don't have a sense of belonging, or if you're feeling like nobody understands you, your motivation is going to be super low. You're not going to want to get out of bed and go to work. The need for achievement involves accomplishments, creating a new and better contribution to the organization that you work within, setting goals that are achievable, and striving to improve oneself. The need for power involves the influence of others and control of one's direct environment, which includes two subfactors. The first subfactor is socialized power. This is used to improve a group to which one belongs in for the betterment of others. So it's not just a personal improvement, it's improving yourself as well as improving the people that you're working with in a group. Personalized power is to influence others dominance, a display of successful power acquisitions, and these are generally viewed as negative. Although they are viewed as negative, influencing others, as long as you're influencing others in a positive and meaningful way, it can be a positive thing. Now we're going to talk about how motivation relates to business. Motivation of employees is essential to a successful organization and healthy working environment. A motivated employee is someone that works hard because they feel fulfilled when they do so, not because they have to or are required to or are forced or made to do so. One of the most well-known theories of motivation was created through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs discusses the required needs for survival, the food, air, reproduction, there are also basic needs that are required for employees within their working environment. Therefore, this theory can also be applied towards business. The hierarchy of needs consists of two levels, which are the higher and lower needs. Higher needs consist of self-actualization, self-esteem, and social belonging. These consist of giving the opportunity to achieve your highest potential, being respected and confident with your actions within your business, a sense of belonging with coworkers, or being accepted. The lower needs are security and psychological. So protection from anything that's physically harmful, being provided human basic needs to survive, food, breaks, shelter. If you are just being forced to work and work and work, and you're not given a break, you're not given an opportunity to eat and fuel your body, let's face it, you're not going to be producing, and this is going to be just a complete failure. Hertzberg's two-factor theory. So Hertzberg's two-factor theory divides two sides, the motivation factor and the hygiene factor. Motivation factors include promotion opportunities, opportunities for personal growth, recognition, responsibility, and achievement. Hygiene factors include quality of supervision, pay, company policies, physical working conditions, relations with others, and job security. The motivation factor describes how employees are satisfied and adequately fulfilled in their counterpart of having hygiene factors that must be present to sustain members. Motivators are associated with achievement, supervision, recognition of achievement, and supervisors' empathy and caring relevant work along with the opportunity for growth. From this aspect, leadership is shown from upper management. These individuals stand behind their employees to help them grow within the organization and keep their positive morale above for higher work performance. This means for motivation to come into effect, you have to have someone who's leading you, who is displaying that motivation and kind of leading by example. That in turn will also motivate you to do what they are doing, which is hopefully above and beyond what is requested and required, and motivate yourself to do better yourself as well as the people among you. Looking into the hygiene factor, managerial aspect is taken into consideration. The hygiene factor displays supervision practices, policies, administration, and interpersonal relationships. Both of these factors are necessary but hold different roles. Workers will not attempt to improve their work quality unless both the motivation and hygiene factors are present. A good example of this is if there are opportunities for personal growth, recognition, and responsibility, but the pay is lacking, physical working conditions are poor, and your relationships with others are not good, and you have no job security, this motivation to be recognized, to earn more responsibility, to grow within the company, to promote, are not going to be wanted or warranted. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs can be compared to a pyramid. At the bottom, you have the physiological needs. Next comes the safety needs. Above that is social needs, and then esteem needs, and at the very top is self-actualization. Motivation relates to a range of physiological processes that guide an individual towards a goal and cause that person to continue down the path of pursuing a goal. Motivation is often described as a choice of one activity over another, how hard the individual tries, and how long that individual continues with a positive attitude. even when obstacles are put in the way. So Maslow is basically saying, look, if you have motivation, it's going to be there regardless of what roadblocks or walls are put in front of this person. That goal is in sight, and they're going to do everything they can to reach it. Motivated employees tend to work harder, produce higher quality of larger quantities of work, and are more likely to express organizational citizenship behavior. This results in an individual fulfilling their desires as an employee and will likely stay with an organization. This is a good news for companies because that means that the people that they are hiring are not only going to be highly motivated and reach their goals, but they are going to stay with the company because it's a good place to work. Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory can be used as a framework to identify the numerous benefits that organizations can offer their employees and in return increase profitability and decrease expenses. What he's saying here is basically if a company is meeting the needs of an employee and they can identify the benefits that they can offer their employees to keep them motivated, and that will in turn increase their gross profits, profitability, and decrease their expenses. So that's good for all employees all the way around, for the employees as well as the company business. So let's break down Maslow's hierarchy of needs even further. So as I talked about on the previous slide, is that picture of the pyramid. So on the bottom level, the first level is going to be physiological needs. Physiological needs consist of hunger, thirst, avoidance of pain, sexual gratification, and elimination. So pertaining to employees, basic needs may consist of wages, bonuses, stock options, and retirement plans. The next one is going to be safety needs. Now, safety needs consist of the feeling of having a safe and secure housing, protection from crime and drastic weather, and as time has gone by, healthcare coverage by employers has become easier to obtain. They've also extended this coverage to family members. Employers have also made life insurance available, and another part of this includes retirement plans. The long-term security allows employers to feel more positive and secure about their retirement. The level above that is going to be the social needs. Now, social needs consist of emotional intimacy, friendships, social connections. Individuals want to feel as though they belong with an organization. The love/belong methods bring coworkers and bosses into the equation. Social support and strong relationships often meet employees' needs to ensure that they stay safe with the organization throughout their career. Now, teamwork and collaboration also help meet these needs for both employees and organization. So what it's saying there is, if you don't have that sense of belonging like we talked about before, you're not making friends at work, and you don't have social connections, you're not going to feel a part of that organization, and that's just going to be detrimental for everyone involved. Next, we have esteem needs. Esteem needs consist of achievement, respect, prestige, status, and approval. The previous levels help strengthen the motivation and self-confidence with employees, but the esteem needs has the recognition to proven to be meaningful incentive to staying with an organization. I mean, let's face it, if we are not respected, we don't feel like we're being approved by our coworkers and even our bosses, we're not going to want to stay with our organization, and we'll seek out employment elsewhere. So research has shown that when esteem needs are met, an employee will stay with an organization longer and be more willing to recommend that organization to others. So not only are they staying, they're bringing in people with like interests and like behaviors to that place of employment, which in turn is going to make that business just boom. The fifth level and last level at the very top is self-actualization. Now, self-actualization consists of the fulfillment of your individual potential. Once the other four needs are met, an employee now looks at how they can better themselves and those around them and the world as a whole. This layer of hierarchy helps inspire employees to perform at their highest level. I mean, it's a wonderful concept. You're feeling good about yourself. That good and positive attitude is reflected upon your coworkers and others that you come in contact with, which in turn are going to make them positive. And that's just a win-win situation for everyone. The Hawthorne effect. Now, this is a really cool study. The Hawthorne effect was one of the most famous experiments in business history because it made the individuals think differently about work and productivity. Now, the purpose of this experiment was to study the effects of physical conditions on productivity. So the experiment took place inside a factory where workers were divided up between two different groups. Physical conditions of the first group were changed, such as the lighting, which actually resulted in higher production for the first group, while the second group remained the same. The researchers were surprised when the group with the heightened lighting became more productive. I mean, who would have thought? Slight change in lighting, higher production. Other changes were switched as well, such as working hours and rest breaks. With all cases, however, the workers' productivity levels grew. Now, once the changes were brought back to normal, productivity continued to be high. When the researchers concluded, it was noted that the workers were more productive when their supervisors and others were concerned about their workplace. That is that sense of belonging, that sense of responsibility, and wanting to be desired and needed within the people you work with and for. So Elton Mayo, who helped supervise the experiment, had once said, "The desire to stand well with one's fellows, the so-called human instinct of association, easily outweighs the merely individual interest and the logic of reasoning upon which so many spurious principles of management were based." So working alongside a group of individuals compared to working alone helps individuals become part of an integral team. So that just goes to show that working alone can be boring and mundane. But when you throw others into the factor, especially if they have that same goal in mind, productivity is going to increase and everyone is going to be happier. The expectancy theory. Now, this theory is the most widely accepted theory of motivation. Expectancy theory is based on a motivation and how it is used to explain individuals making decisions regarding various behavior alternatives. So first we have the expectancy probability. Now, this is based on an effort of performance and relationship. It is defined as a person's effort and whether it will lead to the desired performance, as well as being based on one's past experience. So someone could think, if I work harder than everyone else, will I produce more? This is relative to the expectancy probability. Next, we have the instrumentality probability. Now, this is based on perceived performance and reward relationship. It is defined as a person reaching their performance expectations and whether that will receive a large reward. So one can think, hey, if I produce more than everyone else, will I get a bigger raise or maybe even a promotion? The last is the valence. Now, the value one personally puts on a reward. This relates to one's needs, values, and goals. So one could think, what do I want? Do I want a raise? Is it worth it? This is the expectancy theory. Last but not least, we're going to discuss the three-dimensional theory of attribution. So the three-dimensional theory of attribution is a theory that assumes people try to determine why people do what they do or interpret causes to an event or behavior. This theory has three stages. The first is the behavior must be observed or perceived. The second is the behavior must be determined to be intentional. And the third is the behavior attributed or internal or external causes. So according to Weiner, the most important factors are ability, effort, task, difficulty, and luck. The three attributions are classified into the three following dimensions. So we break it down even further. We have the internal versus external, stability, and controllability. Okay, so we're at the end, the conclusion. So let me ask you this. Thinking back to the beginning of the presentation, has your opinion of motivation involving your life and career and its importance changed? Having the knowledge of motivation and understanding the potential it has will allow individuals and companies to unlock their full potential. I challenge you this. Take this information and apply it to your present day job. Apply it to your present day department, company, place of business, workplace, and see how you can make a difference. Look at your company or place of work and say, hey, is my motivation high enough? Is it at full potential? Do I have room for improvement? Vince Lombardi once said, the difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not even a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. And Vincent Lombardi is considered to be one of the most greatest football coaches of all time. He possessed the ability to teach, motivate, and inspire players, which resulted in his successful career with the Green Bay Packers. Now, the same application can be applied to any business, leaders or employees within a company. Leaders that are not able to only teach exponentially, but also instill motivation, inspiration, and determination into their position, their company, and employees, will end up in success being the only result. It is clear to see that motivation truly is the first step towards success. Without motivation in yourself, in your coworkers, in the whole business, as a complete whole, success is not going to be reached. If you don't have a common goal with the people that you work with, if you don't have that motivation to reach that goal with the people you work with, success is not going to be able to be reached. I want to thank you guys for listening and watching this presentation. I hope that you take away from this some kind of aha moment, or hey, I understand that, or absolutely I can do that at work, and use that to empower not only yourself as an individual, but also to empower those around you. Apply this to your personal life, apply this to your workplace, and get people motivated to reach that common goal. Now, I want to thank the people that put this presentation together, as well as the people that contributed to it. We here have our references listed. You can read those yourself and go through them, and we give credit where credit is due. Now, below is listed the resources and information that we pulled from to make this presentation possible, so we are giving credit where credit is due. Seriously, guys, this is the end, but I really hope that you take from this presentation some new knowledge and you carry that with you throughout your life, throughout your business life, and you apply it and you make a difference. So go out there and do what you need to and be the best you that you can possibly be. Thank you, guys. The end.